What's good, fight fans? It's Ashley's Corner, and I seen this. I seen the Boxing Voice interview Kenny Porter, and it's the interview's almost 2 hours long, so that's I just saved it for later, and I just watched it last night. I watched and listened to it, and I kind of skipped through some parts too. I'm not even gonna lie, but it's a he did say something that was pretty interesting, and I knew that they was going to get something good out of this interview out of Kenny Porter, and they did, you know. And I want to play what he said, and then I want to give, and then I want to say what I have to say about what Kenny Porter said about Earl Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Here we go.
You've trained Earl. Like you said, he was the, star of 2012, uh, the amateurs team. And you fought both of them.
Yeah.
From, the corner, obviously. Who are you picking? Even if you're not picking anyone, who are you leaning towards?
Errol.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Why?
There's a lot of different things that go on there, but the number one would be the bigger fighter in the fight on fight night. That's a huge advantage for him on fight night. Fight night, he's X amount of weight classes above his weight class. That's a huge advantage. So that would be one of them. The 1A would be technically extremely sound fighter. Always has been.
I'm gonna put the link to this whole interview in the description box below. I believe the interview starts getting real good, and I believe 40 minutes within to the whole interview, because I said it's like 2 hours long. So yeah, you can check that out on your own time if anybody wants to see the interview. But let me just say, Kenny Porter picking Earl Spence and the way he said it, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, it's no thought process, no straddling the fence, no nothing. Like, it just it brought up some stuff. I was just thinking to myself, like, you know what? So I understand. I get it now. Kenny Porter, you picked Earl because Bud took your son. Now your son don't talk to you no more, maybe for the day. Y'all, I know y'all relationship ain't the same as it was before he fought Earl Spence, before you threw in the towel when he was fighting Bud. So because Bud took your son and now they close friends, it's like y'all, I believe, you probably don't eat breakfast with Sean no more in the morning, so like you gotta sit there watching Good Morning America by yourself and stuff like that. I just think, you said a little piece of it said it. You said you're picking Earl in the way you said it because Bud took your friend. Bud took your son. It's just somebody that you've been, he wanted to go get married and start a family and have children, and he's supposed to feel like that, him being a grown man. You always seen Sean being a goody two shoes all the time and speaking like a goody two shoes with never had no woman around him. And so when he got married, started having kids, I'm like, good, that's good for him. That's great. He's starting a family. And Kenny Porter over there, like, go ahead, do your lolly-die thing. I'm gonna buy the house across the street. All right, and I'm gonna eat breakfast with you every morning. Like, dang, you won't even let the man go out and spread his wings by himself. So now that you don't have him no more, and he's out playing ping pong and laser tag and all this other stuff, paintballing with Bud, I know you feel some type of way. So that's really what this is about. You know what I'm saying? That and a little piece of you rubbing it into Sean that Earl Spence is the better fighter or something like that. Like you said you knew you was gonna throw in the towel before the fight happened. And you're telling me that evidently for sure Earl can beat Bud, but you stopped Sean Porter from fighting. And somewhere in this interview, Ness asked him, do you feel any type of way about throwing in the towel? Would you do it again? Is what he said. Would you throw in the towel again, knowing Sean was up on the scorecards? We know he wasn't up on the scorecards for the unofficial, but both of the people that was interviewing Kenny both agreed that they themselves had Sean Porter up, and he said, "No, I'll do it again in a heartbeat." So that's basic. That's telling me that you knew that your son wasn't good enough because of what was going on in the fight, is what it seems like. But you knew that you was going to throw in that towel before the fight happened if you seen something. So if you seen a certain something. So you knew that your son didn't train good enough for that fight. That's why you allowed, he admitted in this interview that Errol Spence hit Sean Porter harder, and he got up, slammed his fist together, and yelled, "Let's go." He got hit by a weaker punch by Bud, fell and started punching the ground. So that was a sign for him to stop the fight, basically, is what he was saying. I mean, it was an alright interview after 40 minutes of it, and it started getting good. But it's like you could have. He's, in my opinion, he shouldn't have said he'll do it again. But I believe that was a lot of ego coming out of Kenny Porter. What he should have said was, "No, I wouldn't have did it again because I seen how it changed the relationship in between me and my son." He just don't want to admit what the hell is really going on. You know what I'm saying? If Kenny and Sean was like that still, you would see Sean with Kenny still after he's retired. You don't never see him together. And he spoke about because he asked, Ness is known for being a little messy. That's how I knew something good was gonna come out of this long interview. But talking about Sean never invited him to the new studio or nothing like that. Like, he got a whole podcast and it just started, and I believe he wasn't invited to it or something like that. They were talking about in the beginning. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on in this video. I mean, in this live, and it's hitting because he's not really coming out and talking about him and his son's relationship. I know Derek James said that Sean don't talk to his father ever since he threw in the towel. I mean, all of that stuff could be true and could have changed recently, and they do talk now. But I believe they wasn't. You ain't see Kenny. Nobody talked about Kenny. Even the people that's on the Porter Way podcast, they kind of leave Kenny out of all questions. You know what I'm saying? They really don't talk that much about the situation. But let me find out, Kenny Porter didn't want to see no rematch in between Errol Spence and his son. He wanted to see Errol Spence versus Bud. Like, it's so many things wrong with what he did, and the fact that he don't feel no way about it tells me that Kenny Porter is one controlling mofo, if you ask me. Okay. But him picking Errol Spence is because of his size and the fact that he's technically sound. Okay, cool. I would wanted them to ask some questions on the flip side about why Bud would lose. I wanted them to ask Kenny questions about Bud. You know what I'm saying? And what he's seen in the fight with his son, and, go a little bit deeper into that. But, that didn't happen. But just like I said, if y'all want to see this live, it is in the link into the description. Always like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.